The true nature of Chopper's Devil Fruit. There has been a lot of mystery surrounding the Hito no Mi series. However, there's only one Hito no Mi which is yet to be revealed. Choppers. Hello there! We're One Piece fanatics! In this video, we'll be uncovering the model of Chopper's Hito no Mi. We've already discussed Chopper's model in a previous video, but today, we want to go more in-depth and also explore the other theories surrounding the model of Chopper's fruit. Spoiler warning, we'll discuss One Piece chapters up to 1046. If you haven't read this far, please turn back now. You've been warned. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Zoan Devil Fruits. After 4 years, the Wano arc finally concluded, revealing in chapter 1044 that Luffy's Devil Fruit was actually the mythical Zoan type Hito no Mi model Nika all along. According to Dr. Koreha, the fruit Chopper consumed was also a Hito no Mi. However, the specific model of this Hito no Mi is not yet known. It is possible that Chopper's Devil Fruit is a regular Zoan, but personally, we believe it is a mythical Zoan fruit. That's because all other Hito no Mi currently in the story are mythical Zoans. We'll explain this more later in the video. Let's look into Chopper's abilities and discuss the model of his Hito no Mi. Firstly, we'll briefly explain the Zoan type classifications. Chopper's Hito no Mi fits into this Zoan category. Zoan type Devil Fruits grant their users the ability to transform into 3 forms. The first is the human form, the user's natural form prior to consuming the fruit. The second is the beast form, which resembles the animal or creature the fruit is based off. And finally, the human beast form, which is a hybrid of the earlier 2 forms. Now, let's dive into the characteristics of each type. The human form adopts the user's natural-born appearance. It is the least powerful of the 3 types. To clarify, in this form, humans such as Luffy and Rob Lucci appear as regular humans, but minks such as Peckhams appear in their natural mink forms. Next, the beast form transforms the user completely into its animal model. As for mythical Zoans, users transform into popular depictions of the creature and are able to utilize the full abilities of their mythical powers in this form. An example of the beast form is how Rob Lucci's Neko no Mi leopard transforms him completely into a leopard. In the case of Kaido, his Uo no Mi model Shiryu, being based on a mythical azure dragon, means his beast form resembles an eastern dragon. On to the next one, the human beast form. Partially transforms the user, giving select characteristics of the animal, which grants some of the abilities available in the beast form. To give an example, when the Tobiropo Who's ancient Zoan, the Neko no Mi model saber-toothed tiger, is in his hybrid form, he has sharp fangs and claws, characteristics of the saber-toothed tiger, but still walks on 2 legs. The hybrid form is the most balanced as it can be used to manifest only the strong animal traits, while allowing users such as Rob Lucci to continue performing human techniques like Rokushiki. Hito no Mi series. With years of research, Chopper is able to manipulate the transformations of the Zoan-type Devil Fruit through his rumble balls. With them, Chopper has access to 7 different forms: Brain Point, Heavy Point, Walk Point, Jumping Point, Guard Point, Arm Point, and Horn Point, each with their own enhancements. And after the time skip, Chopper no longer requires the rumble balls to transform. Despite the forms differing depending on which aspect is being enhanced, in general, they're still based on the 3 main Zoan transformations. Let's now compare how Chopper's transformations fit into our knowledge of Zoan fruits. Most Zoan-type users' basic form is their human form, but Chopper's is his beast form as he was originally a reindeer and not a human. In other words, Chopper can use his abilities in his human form. Diving deeper into the Hito no Mi, let's consider Chopper's abilities, starting by summarizing what we know so far. Currently, in the series, there are 4 models of the Hito no Mi. Chopper's unnamed model revealed in chapter 139. Sengoku's model, Buddha, from SBS Volume 60. Onimaru's model, Onyudo, from his Vivre card. And Luffy's model, Nika, from chapter 1044. With the exception of Chopper, we see these other users fight with the unique abilities of their Hito no Mi. Additionally, we could further classify the 4 Hito no Mi users into 2 categories. One category where humans ate the fruit, Sengoku and Luffy. The other category where animals ate the fruit, so Chopper and ONIMARU. So let's compare Chopper with ONIMARU as they were both animals originally. ONIMARU was originally a guardian fox, commonly found in the shrines of the Japanese god Inari. Like Chopper, ONIMARU is non-human, so his basic form is his beast form, the guardian fox. The devil fruit ONIMARU ate was in fact the mythical Zoan Hito no Mi Moru Onyudo. The Onyudo is a yokai, a Japanese monster. This particular one looks like a large monk. ONIMARU's human form is clothed like the Japanese warrior monk Benkei. However, the face and form more closely resemble the Onyudo. We've just summarized the abilities of the Zoan-type devil fruits. But in the case of ONIMARU, these vary greatly as he is an animal that consumed the Hito no Mi. For Zoans, generally, the beast form transforms them into their model and is the strongest for attack power. The human form is the user's normal appearance and thus the weakest in terms of combat. However, for ONIMARU, his human form completely gives him the appearance of a human, while manifesting mythical features and granting him access to mythical powers. Therefore, in ONIMARU's case, his human form gives him the highest attack power. His beast form is that of his normal appearance, making it the lowest in terms of attack power. Essentially, when an animal consumes the Hito no Mi, the characteristics of the human form and the beast form are switched completely. This is evident in chapter 952, when ONIMARU transforms into the Onyudo in order to fight Zoro, showing us that for ONIMARU his most powerful form is his human form. On the other hand, for humans like Luffy and Sengoku, who ate the Hito no Mi, their beast forms such as Gear 5 and the giant golden Buddha, Daibutsu, state are the strongest. Chopper's case is more likely to match ONIMARU, in which an animal eats the Hito no Mi, making the human form the strongest. But even though ONIMARU and Chopper are both animals with the Hito no Mi, they still have clear differences. Let's dive into these differences. So first of all, ONIMARU's appearance is completely human in his human form. As discussed before, when an animal consumes the Hito no Mi, they transform into a human. But Chopper always retains the features of a reindeer, regardless of the form he takes. Now, looking further, we mentioned at the start of the video, it's possible Chopper's fruit is a regular Zoan, but based on what we've seen so far, if this is true, then Chopper should turn completely into a human in his human form. It's almost certain Chopper's fruit has a model preventing him from becoming a full human. Chopper's human form must be transforming him into some kind of mythical creature, because mythical users take on the common traits of their mythical models. The second difference is Chopper can speak in his basic beast form. In his beast form, ONIMARU cannot talk. However, Chopper can speak in all of his three forms. In fact, we think that speech is one of Chopper's Hito no Mi ability. Chopper's Hito no Mi model. Now let's revisit Chopper's Hito no Mi's main abilities. Gaining the ability to speak human languages and more notably, human wisdom. Dr. Koreha states it grants Chopper only human abilities. Let's break down Dr. Koreha's comment from chapter 139. We could say that the most remarkable human ability is intelligence and wisdom. Not only does Chopper deal with medicine, but he's also known to be one of the most intelligent characters in the series.
I already know the structure of this virus.
In chapter 997, Chopper was able to immediately grasp the structure and even create antibodies for Queen's prized artificial virus, Ice Oni. Aside from his intelligence and knowledge, Chopper's adaptability to situations, quick-wittedness, and situational decision-making are all impossible to achieve without human wisdom. Now that we've covered Chopper, let's look into the specific characteristics of Chopper's devil fruit. When we evaluate the possibilities for Chopper's unknown models, we'll keep in mind 5 key points about Chopper. 1. He has the abilities of the Zoan-type Hito no Mi. As we've stated before, it's very likely the model of his Hito no Mi is actually a mythical Zoan. 2. Chopper's human form appearance. Typically for Zoan types, their most distinct form is the one the fruit is based on. So in most cases, it's their beast form, but as we've seen earlier, Chopper is a special case, so we'll look closely at his human form. 3. Chopper has more transformations than any other Zoan types. Chopper is able to transform into 6 forms without a rumble ball, unlike other Zoan types. This makes Chopper's transformation ability quite special. 4. He displays extreme intelligence. Of course, we must take into account intelligence as the wisdom and knowledge Chopper gained as his greatest abilities. And finally, 5. Chopper's special characteristics. Even as we're approaching the climax of the series, Chopper's model is yet to be revealed, leaving Chopper in a notable position. Now, let's begin exploring the possible model types that could be Chopper's unknown Hito no Mi model. We'll compare each possibility with the 5 key points we just went over. The first model we could consider is Bigfoot. Let's check our list. So, is it a mythical Zoan? Bigfoot, also known as a Sasquatch or Yeti, or the abominable snowman. Naturally, we can consider this a mythical Zoan. Now, what about the appearance?
That must be an abominable snowman!
In chapter 140, Chopper's human form was mistaken as Bigfoot. In other words, even the story itself cannot deny the similarities. What about the transformation abilities? There's no known incidence of Bigfoot's transformation. Therefore, this does not support our argument. How about intelligence and knowledge? Bigfoot is not known for its intelligence, and so it's also unable to support our argument. Lastly, the uniqueness and special characteristics. Bigfoot, categorized as a mythical Zoan, gives some level of uniqueness and rarity. Another model we can consider is trolls. We'll explore this right now. Firstly, is it a mythical Zoan? In Nordic countries, trolls are considered types of fairies. So we can conclude that this would make trolls a mythical Zoan. Next, the humanoid appearance. Trolls are often described as being very hairy and ugly monsters. In the One Piece story, Chopper is described as a creepy monster. So these are both similar descriptions. But trolls are also known for their malicious expressions. As you would know, this cannot be said about Chopper. Overall, we can be confident that their appearances are similar. Next, let's compare the transformation abilities. In many tales, trolls are said to transform into giants and dwarves for mischievous reasons. This can definitely overlap with Chopper's abilities of transformation. And lastly, can a troll's knowledge and intelligence compare to Chopper's? It is believed that trolls like to play tricks or pranks, and they're known to be a little bit like thieves, so they can be described as cunning, but not necessarily intelligent. So, their intelligence levels are not comparable. Finally, the uniqueness of rarity. Because trolls are classified as fairies, we can evaluate this as very unique and rare. Next, maybe an unexpected turn for some of us, but some fans have speculated that Chopper's model is the god of the forest or Mori no Kami. Let's explore the possibilities of this being the model. Up to this point, we have considered models of only creatures envisioned in the real world. From here, we'll explore possibilities from within the One Piece world, like Luffy's model, Nika, the god of the sun, the god of the rain, the god of the forest, the god of the earth. In chapter 287, these 4 gods were first mentioned during a sacrificial rite in Jaya, as it was believed that the plague was the curse of the gods. When these 4 deities were mentioned, it was not regarded as an important foreshadowing. But when the existence of the god of the sun Nika was later revealed, it brought our attention back to the other 3 gods and their existence. So we can consider that Chopper's Hito no Mi is also based on a god. More specifically, Mori no Kami, the god of the forest. Let's compare this model with our 5-point checklist. Then we'll get into why the god of the forest and not any of the other gods. Again, let's start with whether it's a mythical Zoan. Since the god of the sun, Nika, is a mythical Zoan, undoubtedly, the god of the forest will also be mythical. Next off, the human form appearance and the ability to transform. As of now, we have no information on either of these 2 points, so we cannot evaluate them. Next, let's look at intelligence. Forests are made up of trees, and in Japanese, a forest can be called Shinra. Let's take a language detour. This word Shinra can also refer to all existence between heaven and earth, and the expression Shinra Bansho means the whole of creation. referring to the countless plants and animals found in the forest. The wisdom of each and every one of these species is based and found in the forest. In fact, you'll find that in Greek mythology, the god of wisdom, Eiichiro, originated from a sacred forest. Eiichiro was thought to have a deep connection with the wisdom of the forest. Based on this, we can conclude that the wisdom of the god of the forest will be very high. Finally, it could also be considered that this model has the same uniqueness as Luffy's sun god Nika, because it's also a god. The mythical Zoan Hito no Mi model, Mori no Kami. So, why do we believe this to be Chopper's model? There are three major reasons. The first reason is that Chopper trained to draw on the dormant power of the devil fruit. The second reason is the side effect of aging. And the third and final reason is the naming scheme in One Piece. Let's look at each of these reasons. Reason number 1. Chopper is single-handedly drawing out the abilities of his devil fruit. We mentioned earlier that there are many connections between forests and wisdom based in literature and history. This is not limited to the real world, as it is also significant in the One Piece world, such as Hoju Adam or Treasure Tree Adam, and Yoju Eve or Sunlight Tree Eve's existence in the story. Let's take a closer look at the names here. Adam and Eve. Obviously, Adam and Eve are inspired from the Bible. Here's a brief summary of their story. God created the heavens and the earth, then created Adam and Eve in his own image. They lived in a paradise-like garden, the Garden of Eden, where there's no suffering. At the center, God created two trees, the tree of life and the tree of wisdom. Adam and Eve promised God that they will not eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge. However, in the end, they broke this promise. The forbidden fruit that they ate is an apple. If we make a parallel with the One Piece story, then the forbidden apple could be associated with devil fruits. As a consequence of eating the fruit, world peace ended and order was disrupted. So we could continue the parallel and say that trees such as the Treasure Tree Adam and Sun Tree Eve are closely related to God, and because we're talking about trees, then we could say that this god is the god of the forest. Also, the story of the forbidden fruit in the Bible could reveal the origin of devil fruits. There's no doubt that the god of the forest will become a prominent figure in the future developments of the story. And we think that this will not be a newly introduced character, but an unexpected character who has already appeared in the storyline. Also, if the model of the Hito no Mi, Chopper 8, is the god of the forest, then it would explain how Chopper was able to create the Rumble Ball to manipulate the wavelength of the devil fruit.
All Zoan fruits have a will of their own, and this one carries the name of a god.
As the five elders said in chapter 1044, the strong will of the god of the forest residing in the fruit probably helped Chopper in his discovery. Finally, since ancient times, forests have been considered to be sacred places. There are many beliefs that regard forests as powerful entities that bring strength and healing to their dwellers. Even today, forests are regarded as calming places that bring peace and serenity. And of course, healing means not only healing the mind, but also healing of the body, or even curing of illnesses. So, don't you think that this fits the depiction of Chopper as a doctor perfectly? Reason number 2. The aging side effects. In chapter 1017, Chopper turned into Baby Gigi, also known as Baby Geezer or Old Man Baby, due to the side effects of his Rumble Ball. This side effect shrank Chopper to be small enough to fit into the palm of your hand, but his mind was that of an old man. This phenomenon was strangely similar to the side effect Luffy had. This occurred in chapter 1045, when Luffy was fighting against Kaido. His energy was running low and he started to age very fast, becoming almost unrecognizable. Luffy aged in appearance, but for Chopper, only his mind aged. So there are some differences between the side effects of Luffy and Chopper, but it seems to us that this aging side effect comes from working their abilities to their limits. The difference between the two might be because Luffy has awakened his devil fruit, unlike Chopper. To summarize, Chopper's Hito no Mi must have a comparable or similar type model to Luffy's Hito no Mi model Nika, for both to experience this phenomenon. Reason number 3. The naming scheme. This is a bit far-fetched, but when a new Straw Hat joins the crew, the title of the chapter in which this happens always represents the position of the new member. For example, in Chapter 6, where Zoro joined Luffy, the Japanese title can be translated as first person. Likewise, Chapter 68, where Sanji joins the crew, the chapter was titled fourth person. But it's important to know that this title naming scheme is used not when these characters join Luffy's ship as a crew member, but when the characters develop a genuine connection with Luffy. For example, Luffy welcomes Nami to join his crew in Chapter 21, but the title second person was not used until Chapter 94, when Nami is freed from her ties to Arlong. Just a quick side note for fans who read the Viz edition, the title of Chapter 94 was translated to The Other Villain, but if you check the Japanese title, we can see that the same pattern is followed. So this rule with titling chapters exists. However, Chopper's title, fifth person, has not yet come out. Because of this pattern, we can predict that a significant event related to Chopper will occur in the future. So, what are the remaining events for Chopper? Since Chopper's past has already been revealed, it will not be like when Nami's secret was revealed, that she was actually part of Arlong's crew, and we don't think he'll temporarily leave after falling out with Luffy as Usopp did. However, there's still one unsolved mystery surrounding Chopper. And that mystery is what we have been exploring today, the unknown Hito no Mi model. Therefore, it must hold a serious secret related to the basis of the whole One Piece storyline. And if a key character is introduced related to this in the future, it's likely that they would be a god, similar or related to the god of the sun Nika. Based on our evaluation, it is most likely that Chopper's Hito no Mi model is a mythical Zoan, the god of the forest. Looks like we have reached the end of our evaluation of Chopper's Hito no Mi model. What do you think about it? If you have any theories about Chopper's Hito no Mi that we didn't cover, share them in the comments below. We'll continue to post new videos on the mysterious world of One Piece, so be sure to subscribe. And with that said, thank you for watching. That's all for now. See you in the next video. And hey, if you're interested in the 3 other god model devil fruits, God of the Sun, the God of the Rain, and the God of the Earth, be sure to check out our 2-part video. Capiche?